We don't do roll on that, do we, right? Because I make the statement? Thank you. Let's move on to consent calendar. Hopefully we had a chance to review that. Any comments, questions around the consent calendar?
Move to accept as printed.
Dean Milberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Frankie,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jeff Flint.
Yes. Hearing from the audience.
Speak up.
Anyone? Bueller? Special reports. Chief's report?
I have two things. One, is any board member going to attend the dinner next Saturday, the 16th? If you are, let me know. End of sign up is tomorrow or Wednesday.
So
let me
let you know by Wednesday.
Well, yeah, that by Wednesday at the latest. Second, I need to get on a soapbox for a little bit. I was called by a member from the city today, fairly upset that they had heard that we're looking at upping our mill levy 40, not 4, but 40 mills this year. I'm glad he said 40 when he said that. We are not even discussing 40 or 4 or 2. So I don't know where he wouldn't tell me where that rumor started, but I'd like to let the public know that watches the video that we are not discussing nowhere near.
No, 40's coming.
40 is 80 people. That's, we could do something with 80 people.
We are getting the aerial.
Yeah.
Aerial
There it
at
comes.
40.
But yeah, that 40 is a lot of money, and so we're not discussing
40.
Yeah, that's, anyway. So I just want to put it on camera that, yeah, folks, we're not talking about 40. We're not talking about 40.
Well, we know it's not Andy that called you.
Don't
You
know.
said a he.
Yeah, it's a he. So, and he wouldn't tell me who, well, maybe Andy's calling, but I don't know.
All right.
Anyway, it's out there, so just want to let everybody know that. Other than that, that's all I got.
Yeah, but we have some impact on that neighborhood revitalization thing.
That's one thing we'll talk about here.
Oh, okay.
Skipping over items for action, items for discussion, neighborhood revitalization plan.
This is one thing, and I've kind of talked with Jeff about it a little bit. I went back and looked. We voted on this at a special meeting October 22nd in 2009.
Do you have the vote on that, by the way?
Yes, we have the vote. It
Okay,
was
good.
4-1. Board member Dean Moberg voted against it. Did I say that right?
Thank you.
At that time, if you remember, I remember Mayor Bernard was here and said this was supposed to be over redone every 5 years, if you remember that.
Yeah.
But the agreement we do have does not have an ending clause in it. It's, the board signed it, it's open, there's a clause in it that says this will not end. So
So to change it would require a supermajority.
well, yeah, but what I also talked to Janet Klazinski, and she said we cannot, if you guys would vote tonight to get out of it, we cannot get out of what that board got us into. We can only get out of any neighborhood revitalization the city would get into from here forward. And for you guys, neighborhood revitalization is a taxing tool that the city and the county use. Freddy's is on it, IHOP's on it. Basically, they charge a property tax. We have to levy a mill, and this year it's $17,023 or .146 mil. We have to levy that tax and then give it back to them. So it shows up on our tax bill, and then we have to give the money back to the county, which disperses it back to the individual businesses.
But that mill, that slice of mill is embedded in our present.
Is
it's not
embedded in
over
our, yes,
above
we have
it.
to budget that
It's in-
$17,000.
Yeah.
Janet said we cannot get out of that now, and most of it came in 2008 when, or 2007, 2008 when we had the big building boom. So it's going to start going off in 2007, 2008. We're going to start losing the two banks that's on it, Eisenhower Crossing, the medical complex out there, that's on it.
Do we know when they fall off?
wasn't for sure, but she said like the banks will fall off at 17, Eisenhower Crossing will fall off at 17. So for the 18 budget, we'll see a big reduction in it anyway. So, and there's been a few businesses between now and then, so we're really not looking at a whole lot. So
I think there's something else, or I thought that was a 10-year.
it is a 10-year.
Okay.
And that's what I say, they started in 2008, so we'll lose 2007, 2008, so we'll lose them in 17, 18.
Okay, good.
But there's been a few on since then, but I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. You know, we're always talking about how to lower the budget. I mean, that's how we can lower the budget, but this is what a tool the city uses to get businesses into town. For 10 years, they offer them a tax rebate. Fairmont Township Fire Department got out of it, but Baser's talking about, if you look at the paper, Baser's talking about doing it for residences now.
Right.
They've got a 350 to 400 unit acre of ground that they're looking at, 400 houses that they're going to do a neighborhood revitalization for 5 years. So Baser's pushing real hard on it, but Fairmont Township Fire Department got out of it. They're no longer part of it, but
So we collect the tax.
we collect the tax. We have to
Then we
levy
give
the
it to-
tax.
We levy the tax.
We levy it, collect it, and then give it back to them.
And give it to the county.
Well, we give it back to the county, yes.
And then the
Are we
county
the one that does
theoretically
that?
gives it back to us, or is that just,
No,
they keep it?
No, they keep it.
So what value, what opportunity is this providing us?
Growth. For us?
For the
For
growth of
us,
the city.
nothing.
City, correct.
The city and the county get sales tax, say IHOP, just take IHOP. They're gonna get sales tax off of pancakes you buy. The school district also is in it, but they don't see the effect of it because there's no kids. So there's no kids at IHOP. We see the effect of it because we have to provide fire protection to IHOP, and we get 100% of our funding from property tax. So we get nothing out of it, but we have to provide a service. But it's a tool, again, that's how the cities, you know, hey, you come into town, we're gonna give you a tax abatement. And it's a, you know, like with Leavenworth, they do it too, so it's a big fight. And I understand why the board did it, and so, but I just want to make you guys aware since nobody was here
And I would recommend
7 years ago.
the city representatives talk to the city and get their feelings, because of course, as a fire board, we allow this, and like Rick says, we get nothing from those properties except the privilege of fighting fires in them.
Right,
The city will get sales tax. They still get benefit, monetary benefit,
right.
giving back the property tax. But here again, you need to talk to your appointers.
Why don't we have them come down and talk to us? They gotta talk the whole board into it.
Yeah, by what Janet was saying, they should be coming into us and talking again, you know, well, from what Bernard said 7, 8 years ago, back in 2009, this should have been done every 5 years. So Janet's gonna kind of get a hold of the city and kind of nudge them, hey, what are you guys doing? So,
Have you got the copy of that?
yes, I do.
Would you send that out again?
I was gonna send that out to you guys, but I forgot to.
Okay, thanks.
So how many tax levying activities contribute this? Us and the school district and,
Everybody, well, I think everybody, the city, county, school district, fire district, the Northeast Kansas Library, and I think that's all that's on our taxing levy. So, but like I say, we're affected by it, we're directly affected by it.
So is that in our mill today?
Yes. Of our 7.62 mills, 0.146 mil is
Money we give back.
money we get back.
Money we give that to the county?
We don't even make interest on those.
I don't
No,
make squat on it.
no, when we
I
get,
can invest
say we get a
At least
$200,000 check from the county, just like this last month, we got a $200,000 check, 10,000 of it was taken off before we even saw it, to give back to the county.
Most fire districts around the country do that.
Most of them do, yeah.
Most of them participate in
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
this.
It's a development, like I say, it's a dogfight with, you know, we want to get a business in Lansing.
Yep.
Leavenworth's going to do it, you know, for them too. Baser's going to do it for them, so it's a dogfight, but you guys were not part of this, so I wanted to make you aware, hey, this is out there. Just, it's a gee whiz for you, so.
But
something else
from my
you can look at.
standpoint, and why I voted no last time, and I asked to vote last, because I was against it, but it takes a supermajority, and I knew the city wanted it bad, so had I been the last one and somebody else voted no, probably the other township person, I would have voted yes to make it go through. But you look at that 17,000 to these business entities, that's nothing. So they get fire protection for free. Whereas take that 17 grand and divide it up by, I don't know,
Well, that's your
six businesses.
mask and,
Well,
there
there's,
was the 3 suits that you said you needed, the 5 suits or something like
Yeah.
that. It was like 5 grand a piece or something.
Yeah.
Mask. A year.
A year
A year.
for fire protection.
Yeah, so now we're getting, yeah.
there's at least 15 businesses in our area that's participating in this, and there's probably more in here.
And most of them are falling off.
Most of them are gonna fall off
Coming up on
here
expiration.
in the next 2 years anyway. So, but again, I just wanted you guys to know,
So what is the, or, I'm missing the, okay, so what? So they fall off and it's not renewed, or?
yeah, it's not renewed,
What
but,
I'm looking for
but
is what you're looking for, they come in and
if we get another business come in,
Yep.
they're gonna offer to that new business coming in, so we keep looking, seeing every year, it's about 17,000, 16,000, 17,000 every year, and I keep looking for it to drop off, and it never, ever drops off.
Yeah.
But like Janet said, unless we get another big building boom come in like we did in 2007, 2008,
Yeah.
then it will drop off tremendously for the 2018 budget year.
And this is for businesses?
Yes.
The money goes to businesses?
For our area, it's businesses only. Like I said,
But the property tax-
Baser's looking at doing it for
Right.
residential.
The property tax and everything is everybody inclusive?
Yes.
In the mill levy that we?
Yes.
We, okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to get that out there.
So I think, why don't I have a chat with the city and just see if maybe the new city administrator would come in and walk us through why it's a good idea.
And they
So-
may end up having to do another agreement. Like I said, it should be every 5
It
years.
sounds like
We understand.
it should be, but a contract that we sign says it's not.
Yeah.
It's an evergreen
It's an ever
clause.
thing, but if the KSA says this has to be renewed every 5
That
years,
would be
then the
nice.
5-year-old agreement is null and void then.
I'd definitely like to see a new agreement with a limit on it.
Well, that's up to you guys, but I mean, he came in here real fast and dirty and down and dirty, and it was done, and I don't think anybody really ever read it.
Yeah, it sounds like and I don't know how those rules would be. Can it be a one-off where on each one we have the opportunity as a team to vote on that, or is it, once you decide to be a part of that, is you just a part of it? You know, I think we can come up with what rules we're gonna participate in, whether it's every 5 years.
Yeah, say if, you guys can come in and say, hey, yeah, we're part of it, but we want an out.
Yeah.
If it gets to be, you got 500 businesses and it's $100,000 a year for us, we want out. So,
When in 2018, they drop off, we have somebody big come in,
they're back on again.
we've lost money.
Yeah.
We're paying 20 grand instead of 17.
Yeah, the goal for what they're trying to do is to build the community,
Yes.
and so.
But for us, with our budget being so small, $17,000, like Marcus said, $17,000, a couple sets of turnout gear. So,
And we're not getting any other benefit. No sales tax, nothing coming into us.
When we made
City
that
does.
decision, did we raise the mills to compensate for it, or we just said?
we have to.
That's what I was gonna say, we
So we've
gotta,
already built in an increase. It's not, so we're really not giving away.
Yeah, but it's $17,000 that we're paying out that we're
But
getting
at
no
the beginning
benefit
of
for.
this thing, if we raised our mill to compensate for it, every year we have an extra 17,000 we put into the bucket to cover that. Is that a fair statement?
Yes,
Part of the budget,
Yes.
yes.
So
We
if
could-
we're
we could-
budgeting that 17
Yes.
to say,
yeah.
how are we missing out, other than we want to now take it back and make
If we don't have to
17,000
pay them $17,000, then our mill levy goes from 7.64 down to 7.5.
more? You're going to recommend dropping the mill levy?
If we didn't have to pay this, no, I'm gonna say we're gonna take something else. You know me too well.
see, this whole thing is just,
I'm trying to get more money for
This whole
red
thing-
things out in the bay.
this whole thing is just,
Now.
this whole thing is just a camouflage against tax money to provide the city for incentive for businesses to come
Yes.
and relocate. and get
Which helps us, because businesses bring in more
I mean, that's all
residents.
it,
and-
so they use the taxing authorities to camouflage the,
But up until this point, you guys were unaware of this, so I wanted to make you guys aware of it.
Very true.
But
as long as we
stated,
can crank it into our budget,
It's already it's in there and,
when somebody complains about our mill levy, we say, well, there's
Yep, there's,
There's over half a mil, we don't have nothing, we can't
Yeah.
control.
And we talk about our money, but it's the taxpayers' money
Yes.
Yeah.
that they pay to us.
That's right.
And for 1.7 mil, we're giving it away.
Yeah.
I mean.
We're giving it away for a period of time to say, we want that business in our community, where many businesses that, when I look to go in in the role that we play, we're negotiating with every city, and we make a lot of choices on where we go based on the incentives that are coming in.
Yeah.
Our incentive that we give is not going to be something that would deter someone from coming in here at $3 grand for
Well,
whoever.
15 businesses, $3,000.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
For
not going
fire
to be
protection.
something,
I mean,
I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's for this, but the whole incentive package creates an incentive for businesses to embrace our community.
Sure.
Sure.
There you
that's what it's
go.
about.
yeah.
A lot more, there's a lot
But
more.
I wanted you guys to be aware, this is out there.
So it's part of the economic development
I
plan.
know a little bit
Yeah.
more now, I really didn't realize
Yeah.
that.
So now you want to start you a new business out there?
Kind of to wrap that one up, we need to probably get that to look at it, and there's probably a rework of that, or do something with that after we have a chance to look at it.
Okay.
All right. Update on the vehicle CIP.
Okay, last meeting, we talked about purchasing, looking at a new pumper truck and trading in 2 vehicles. We have since met with the dealer, and those 2 vehicles are too old and in too bad a shape, so they won't even take them on a trade-in. So we would have to sell them outright like we did the last truck we just got rid of. So that's kind of a down shoot there. Also, we found out that April 1st was the cutoff date for buying 2016 vehicles. So we couldn't get together without putting something together real fast and hurried up. So, and then we looked at getting onto the county's bid site. They bid some trucks this last week, but they weren't going to be big enough to meet our needs. So Jeff and I had a little conversation there Friday night late. So we kind of, Saturday morning, well, this isn't going to work, so we tried. So we're looking at doing pickup trucks, pickup probably then in September, October, when the 17s come out and they get prices. So unless
And we're still-
somebody has a 16 or a 15 new on the lot and, you know, hey, they want to get rid of it, and,
How about the Galveston purchase?
yeah, that's still good. That's still ready to rock and roll if you guys are still willing to look at a pumper. But like I say, what I wanted to bring up to you guys, that the trade-in, we was looking at maybe $25,000 for trade-in. Now they said they won't even, they'll sell them outright like we did our last one, but they're not gonna invest their money in buying the truck. It's the same company. It's Bruntley Mountain out of Tennessee. And they take them on trade-in, or they'll just be a broker to sell, and they don't want to spend their money outright, but they'll be glad to put us on their website, so. They said, yeah, they're too old and not in good shape, so we keep them too long.
So lesson learned, if we decide to get rid of a truck, we sell it before it breaks down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not gonna happen. But we're gonna run them till they can't run no more.
So,
But we're still looking, if I still understand, you guys are still looking at doing the pumper, and we're still gonna start getting the specs together for sometime after budget time.
So
Or
why
during
don't
budget.
this is probably a good point to talk about it, the pumper itself.
Sure.
I mean, so there's probably need to have we did last year before the budget cycle, we had kind of a meeting to kind of walk through budget, to kind of go through that. So I'll throw out some thoughts around the pumper that gives you kind of some thoughts, at least where my head is at.
Okay.
So we have a $525,000 potential purchase. Is that a fair statement?
He's given us a price of right that.
Okay.
A ballpark, he said, for what, we kind of told him what we wanted right now, and he said around 525.
So there's approximately $525,000 spend. We have a pumper today that is aging, that's out here.
Right.
Not really field certified, but it runs and it works.
Yes.
We do a pump test on it every year to understand how that is, the condition of the pump and the pressure and other things. It said it's risky, but it's still working.
Right.
Pump goes out as a 10 grand expense.
20.
It's a 20 grand expense. We have no trade-in value on that vehicle.
Well, we can sell it for whatever we can sell it for.
outright.
Yeah.
And our history
10,000.
says we're gonna
Yeah,
get
10,000 maybe, yeah.
So I'm having a hard time understanding why we wouldn't want to run that thing that has very little value and spend money where we could probably put some funds away to continue to build a reserve for, you can't really do it for trucks, but to have a reserve that's available. To go ahead and make a spend on a $500-some thousand purchase seems to me like there's not a huge reason to do that, other than we have a shimmy in the front end, we have a transmission that has maybe a crack in it that we could have looked at, that we've already paid to have fixed from looking at the invoices. Maybe that might be the case, I'm not sure, but it still leaks. So
No, that's a completely separate issue, what we paid to have fixed. The crack in
So
the
there's a
transmission
crack
is
in
a
the
crack in the
transmission.
housing.
There's a series of things that,
Right.
at the end of the day, if we didn't have to replace the pump, we probably got $7,000 on the high side in it to fix that thing. And some residual rust on the hinges and some other things.
Yeah, we're probably looking at $10,000 right now on a $10,000 truck.
Sure.
Truck's worth 10 grand, we're gonna spend 10 grand right now, and then we're looking at a pump later at 20,000. The intake pipe, like I talked
Yeah,
about you
same
guys,
as if
that's
it's
about
broken,
a 20,
right.
that's about a $15,000 fix, so we're looking at,
At the end
we
of the
can
day,
get
if the pump goes
40,000.
out,
We
we're
can
not
get
gonna
40
fix it, right?
We can get 40,000 into a $10,000 truck real fast.
Or we don't.
Or we
And
don't,
run
and
without a
so
truck.
we run without a truck.
That's correct.
And
And
we
we say
don't-
we're just now
We don't really
gonna
wanna do
forego
that.
the 10,000 that we would have gotten on a trade, and we might get 1,000 now for it. Dean might buy another one. So I'm just kind of putting that out there, so when we do have our debate, we at least kind of know where I'm at and how that might affect, and have some good dialogue around a huge spend that I'm not opposed to doing it. It's just a matter of when we do that, whether that's this year, in 2 years, and we have enough funds that where we could maybe buy 2/3 of it, and then we have a lot less. When we originally talked about the last truck we had talked about that we bought, we said we'd like to get some others off the books until we have another large spend. It's kind of hard to kind of do that, I think, with how our loans are set up, but it's,
Well, that's the only truck now, everything else is paid off, we're only paying on one truck. And big,
What's the number on that truck?
561, that's our newest truck.
that's the newest one.
The big thing is, though, it takes, once we sign on the line saying we want this truck, it's 12 months
Yeah.
to get the truck. Okay, so then we always work after the budget cycle, so now we're looking at July of any year, so we're looking at possibly a year and a half. A lot can happen to a truck in a year and a half.
Sure. My
You can go-
recommendation is we keep it 3 years, and we run it into the ground. What's your maintenance
You
cost on it
said we need
today?
to spend 10,000 now, is that to fix that crack transmission?
Well, it's got a track, I haven't
We
even
don't
got a
know.
price on getting,
We don't know what the-
yeah, we don't have a clue on that. It's,
You mentioned something about 10,000.
well, it's got a crack in the transmission housing, which is a minor thing, but we get wrote up. We have DOT come in every year and they see it and they give us a yellow card on it, if you will. It's a concern, but it's not a red card. They won't red flag it. But you need to get it fixed, you need to get it fixed.
Fixing, like brazing the crack?
Well,
or
no,
replace-
it'd be a new housing.
New house.
So it'd be a new
That's what I was
transmission.
thinking.
It'll be a new transmission.
Well, timeline, we're looking at, if we've missed the 16s right now.
Well, we're talking pickups and that's pickup trucks.
We're talking
Okay.
the pumper now.
This-
Let's
we're on
say
the
the
pump.
pumper now.
They don't
put in
have a
the
year.
budget we have in June, July, get it approved. We're talking the 17, 18 budget.
If you guys approve that truck in budget time of August of this year, then it'll be August of
The next year.
17 before we see that truck.
But or dish out half of it up front, or
No,
some large
we'll
amount?
dish out all of it up front.
All of it up front. So
To
we
get
pay
the,
for
to
it.
get the 2%, to get the
That's the reason
2%
we got the
discount.
loan. So-
We pay for, and that's what we did with this last truck. In fact, we made a payment, we almost made 2 payments before we ever saw the truck. But
we say 15,000.
we say 15,000.
Yeah.
It'd be an interesting number to run that with the bank and see if we just kept that in an account, is it an equal, do you save about the same? It's a 2% give back. Thinking the cost of money is pretty similar. You get 500,000 bucks? I mean, what was the amount we saved?
15.
15,000, that's a 2%. Right now on our money, we're getting .4.
You mean on a CD?
Yeah, .4, .5. That's not 5 point, we're talking point.
So the delta's
We're not getting much,
probably-
we're not getting much, and we're paying, I think we paid 3.5% or 2.5 on the last, no, I don't remember.
It's
Right at,
probably
right at
just
3,
enough.
right at 3. So,
Well, we're saying the new truck, depending on how much we put down, we're saying approximately 58,000 a year we would pay.
yeah.
And currently, today, on our existing new truck that we just bought, we're only paying 13,950, is that correct?
Yeah, it's totally different truck.
And that, I mean, there's.
No, that 13,000 was a different truck. No, we're paying 50,
I'm just saying, the payoff unit for 565.
52, or I think we're paying 52,000 a year.
It's in the same-
28,
It's the same ballpark.
Same
yeah, we're paying like 28, we pay twice a year, 28,000.
Okay.
That's the
So it's
truck we
like
got
50,
delivered
20
last year.
Right, that's what
26,000.
I'm- yeah, that's what I'm-
26,000 payment, so it's 54,000 a year for 10 years. And we did it twice a year because that was the cheapest payment.
Yeah.
Once a year was an extra 0.5% or something, so we paid it twice, and we tried to get it 4 times, and they didn't recognize 4 times.
The only kind of reason I was bringing that up, it's probably worth all of our energy to kind of put some questions together for Rick so he can start to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
prepare
I
a-
put it out there so you guys can get some questions to me, and so we don't have to try to make a decision on top of people and gas and everything else.
So what are the months again on the budget? How does that work on how you want to?
I will give you guys, we won't see any numbers from the county until June. I will give you guys my budget in May. I kind of gave you guys a look at it the other night, but I will give you guys, hey, this is my wish list in May. That way we can talk about it in May, and then June we'll get, okay, this is what we're getting from the county, this is what the mill levy is, this is what the motor vehicle tax will be, so we'll know what we're getting from the county. So we can actually start talking hard numbers. Then July, we will have a meeting to vote to publish.
Is that
We'll get the-
June or is that July?
That's July, we'll do that in the July meeting to get the numbers down. This is what we're gonna approach the people for. Then we have to have that published in the paper.
Yep.
And then in August, we have the budget hearing, and has to be done in August because Janet has to have all her paperwork done at the county level by August 18th, I think. By state law, she has to have her budgets in.
So
Gotta be
June
done
should
in
be a
August.
working session? Sorry, Dean.
It's got to be done in August.
So June should be the working session. Kind of after your wish list comes out, we sit and we walk through that.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm tracking, June.
yep.
We get something in May, we meet in June, and July we submit.
For publish.
For publish.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
And that's the meetings you guys absolutely positively have to be here. Because we don't open the doors next year if you guys don't get a budget.
Okay, any more dialogue on that one? What else do we need to talk about on the SIP? The truck,
We'll look at doing a pickup truck. If you guys still want to do a pickup for Station 2, we'll look at doing that in July or August, when the 17 prices come out. And my recommendation there, we'll just put out a spec, hey, we want a new truck, if it's a 16, if it's 15, if you guys, if they've got an XLT instead of an XL that they want to sell us for the XLT,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Now, we can't get that means they can't get any more from the factory, is that?
Yeah, the cutoff date for the factory, but what I understand, there's still some 15s on the lot.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
that's what-
But they're gonna be loaded up, and, they're not gonna wanna sell that level of truck at this level price, but maybe they wanna get rid of them. So when we put out our spec, we'll say, a 2017 or new, so they can put out hey, we got a 16 on the lot that's got, power windows and door locks and sliding seats and all that, we'll sell you for the same price.
Right.
Trucks are a pretty good deal right now, pickups. I don't know if the market's been bad or what, but they're dealing pretty good.
So gas prices, gas per gallon's dropped, people like me go about the biggest thing I can get.
We'll talk in a year.
when did you want to talk about the times on out at Station 2?
We
I
can
didn't
do that
catch
whenever
that.
you guys want to.
I didn't catch it on the items for discussion. Is it too late to amend that?
No? Well, we
I
can
mean,
discuss.
leave on how the rules work. Shouldn't we have that as item for discussion? I thought we were gonna.
We can bring that up as a board member concern.
Yeah, let's do it there.
Yeah, you guys can do whatever you want to.
All right. I want to hear your results and kind of have you walk through that a little bit.
Okay.
So cadet program.
Okay, I got the a draft out to you guys on the cadet program. I laid out another face sheet that I added policy 3B in conversation with our insurance carrier this week. He suggested that we have some verbiage in there about one-on-one contact with a cadet. They don't like it. They said they pay out a lot of, they don't have a problem with the cadet program, but they don't like seeing the fireman and a cadet going out in a pickup truck by themselves or being one-on-one with, it gets to be, they've paid claims.
Yeah.
I was telling Rick, the Boy Scouts have had that for years.
Yeah.
Too deep leadership's what it's called. Never as an adult with a youth off by themselves.
Right.
No, it doesn't matter, you're just covering your own butt. They can say, he tried to molest me,
Right.
whatever. And that way, if it's in policy, whatever we say, too deep leadership or no one-on-one contact with cadets, so they can never say, I was by myself with one of the firemen.
But what I tried to come up with here is that District 1 member should not be one-on-one with a cadet, always try to maintain a minimum of 3. My thought was if one guy's sitting here at the station and a cadet walks in, okay, you can't either leave the station or tell a cadet to leave the station. I mean, that's
Right.
dumb, but you know, we need to come up with some verbiage, and I figured, well, between you guys.
Yeah. Get it.
Come up with some verbiage here, and that was the only thing the insurance had a problem with.
They didn't recommend training for the team here as sometimes they'll ask the adults to go through training. It's a simple class that they come in and do. I don't know if they're,
Well, they've got a booklet, and he said it's available online, and I've tried the last couple of days to get online. I don't know where it's online at, so I'm gonna have to give him a call and say, where's your online
Right.
booklet at?
Okay.
But it's a juvenile youth program through the FIS, and so we'll have to get with them and, okay.
Do we want to do a maximum of 10? Because 10 is a lot.
I just threw it out there.
I know, it's just a number you
Yeah,
threw.
10's a lot,
Stuck it
but
on the wall,
hey, you know,
And in talking with the school, there may be only 5 that even qualify from their end. They were very impressed with the beginnings here, prototype, and anxious. They think it's a great idea.
yeah, we can change it to
But they
5,
may
no
be,
problem.
whereas the medical side has 2.
Yeah, I met one of
By
them.
design.
that
And we may want to
overfished
start out real low just to, you know, get our feet wet and find out what we're doing.
You know, while we're talking about it too, I envision this, they come down, we'll see how they work out. The only expense I really saw initially was t-shirts. Now, they're here for the senior year, they turn 18, then it's like, okay, Bobby's gonna make a good fireman. Come on down, then we can outfit him. But I can't see, got old stuff up here they can try on, stuff like that, but I had no intention of outfitting cadets
Okay.
with equipment.
Well, if we teach them Fire 1 class, they'll have to have some kind of gear on them, and we can work out something, you know, okay, we'll work into it, but our gear upstairs, probably not gonna fit very many high school students.
I just
for
don't want to
the,
spend, what is it, 10 grand a
girth of,
cadet?
other than these two sitting over here, you know. They're not, most of the else is not high school size.
do they get credit for, if you teach them Fire 1, would that be I mean, can they put that on their resume? So if we had a series of suits that, to your recommendation earlier, a small, medium, large, as they go through, when you're doing Fire 1 training, is everybody doing it at the same time, so they have their suit on at the same time? Or
Yeah.
so they would have to have a series of suits and maybe limiting it to 5 or something to see how that works, to see if we even like it. And if they're getting credit for it, would the high school be willing to participate in the expense as a way of getting credits for their students to benefit their resume? There might be something there
Check that or put it on the parent.
to help participate.
It's an after-school activity. Actually, it's an in-school activity. They
This
come
is
down the
in-school.
last
Right.
hour and a half of
It's the
school.
last hour and a half, 2 hours of school.
Right. That's the big incentive for them right there. They get out 2 hours early.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you guys can come up with, I'll change that to a maximum of 5, and if you guys come up with some verbiage on that B, then
Okay.
Dean, you got more walk in there.
And like I say, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's a great short program and test, youth protection, put out by Scouts. And it's, here's a situation, what do you do? And then you can say, we've all looked at it, type of thing.
Catholic also has the same program.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you, what is the reason for the maximum of 5 again versus what you've got as 10? I missed that part. I
Just
don't
the
understand.
expense.
Is 10 too many for you to be able to do?
It might be. I mean, I would like to, I kind of agree with you guys. Let's start small. I just put 10 on there because I didn't know where else to go with it.
That doesn't sound like that's where you're going. Were you saying, why not keep it at 10? Is that where your head's at?
I'm just trying to figure out what the limitation is. 10 is nothing.
But I think we
Well,
bring
if you're looking
a
at-
certain amount down here, let them work with the guys. And it might be, well, why do we have 10 here? We can't keep track of it.
It's going to
Yeah.
be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
And if we're trying to do everything that we have listed down here in the fire academy or the training course subjects, that's quite a bit of information. And to try and do that with 10 people, with the resources that you currently have on hand, I think is going to be a stretch.
Yeah,
Let's,
that's what I was looking for.
let's start at
If the
5,
limit-
and if
the
it
limit
works
is
out and we
resources,
find out,
right.
we find out we can handle more than 5, then we can bump it up. I'd rather fail on the low side and say, well, we could have took more.
Yeah, I
Rather
agree.
than we took too many and we
And you
really
know-
screwed it up for
Right,
everybody.
and you know we may only get 2 or 3 anyway.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out before we move forward.
Yeah.
What do we say?
No, I was
the
just a
limit
number
to
I
10?
started
Is it
out there.
Resources, is it instructors, is it,
Yep.
is these guys back here?
Because
Well,
where we
if
got
you
this
had
from
10, you'd
didn't,
have to have all of our full-time firemen in here.
That
yeah.
means Joe Gates gonna have to work. Holy crap.
Hey,
That's
I think this, I read this, and I like it, I think it's pretty thorough. The only question I got is tell me about insurance. I mean, what if one of these guys get hurt real bad and the parents?
They are,
There'll be a
one
lawsuit.
Dean said they're covered through the school.
Right.
And then we talked to our insurance carrier, and we have a fairly open policy where if we have a major incident out on a highway and there's Charlie Smith stand up on the street that, hey, all of a sudden we need help pulling hose, I can draft Charlie Smith, and if he gets hurt, he's covered.
Oh, well, then the cadet surely would be. covered.
So, then
But
they
as an
said, yeah, they'll
approved
do
school
cadets.
program, they're covered on the school's insurance.
So they're sort of a double coverage.
Yeah, we're covered,
Should be
we're covered
covered.
also.
Okay, well,
Liability.
that's the only question I had.
Yeah, we want to be covered too in case one of them gets hurt.
Hospitals were big on that, on those 2 medical students that we got. Oh, yeah. Cushing and, I can't remember the other hospital was real on the insurance.
Board member concerns? Are we at that point?
We are at that point.
Good. Dean?
Go ahead.
Jim?
I think what you wanted to talk about head count,
Yeah.
potential head count, or future head count, I should say. And I was reading through your document that you presented the other night, and you talked about a captain taking the captain and making that an assistant chief position.
Yes.
So that should be almost a zero out on additional costing.
Yes.
Roughly. And then you said you needed 1 more lieutenant. But now, how would that fill the requirements out at
Well,
Station 2?
I was already kind of figuring we're gonna hire a fireman. That was already a gimme, since, the board last year said, let's do a test and see if we've lowered our response time, which we have, and I think that's what you want to get into here in a few
Kept
minutes.
track of those.
So, that was, to me, was already given, so what I was looking for was the captain to kind of backfill, because my concern has always been, I want to have 4 guys on duty during the daytime, because we are drastically short. I give you that report every year of how many calls are run just by the duty shift. So, having an assistant chief that's available to make entry into structures and still fight fire, available in the daytime, that would take the place of the other 3 guys I would be looking at hiring. That's after we hire the 1 guy that we have 3 guys per shift I'm looking at doing 4. The assistant chief would cover that 4th position.
So on paper, you're wanting 2.
Yes.
So let's start, so why don't we put a little energy before we jump into that assistant chief spot on the results to
Okay.
understand if we're in agreement kind of
Okay.
with where we were.
Okay.
All right. You wanna walk
Up through last Monday, because we do reports on Monday morning. Up through last Monday, our response time for High Prairie for this year is 7 minutes and 34 seconds. And you can see that's down from 10 minutes, 33 seconds from last year, which we did have partial coverage at Station 2, which is down from the 11:47 to 12:46. So you can kind of see the last 2 years where we've had some partial coverage, our response time has dropped. Delaware Township hasn't seen a drop in response because Delaware's not changing. The city has seen a drop in response, but that's just, okay, it happened.
So you're making Dean's service a lot worse.
No.
No, it's the
No.
same.
It's, okay, it's 4 seconds worse, but it'll change.
I agree.
This year is still so young that when we do have a couple of responses, it changes drastically because we've only had probably 10 calls in Delaware Township this year and we've had 40-some in High Prairie. We've had way more in High Prairie than we've had in Delaware this year. And then we've had 200 in Lansing, so. But that's what the averages are so far this year. So you can see there's been a drastic drop in High Prairie. And it's kind of hung in there. You guys got last month's minutes. It's hung right in there at 740 something or 734. It's pretty much leveled off right now.
Now, do you
Biggest-
have-
oh, sorry, go ahead. No, about that.
Do you have the high and the low? I mean, how quick have you been able to respond, or how long has it taken?
Our quickest response is 0 seconds.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we have a real quick con. If the guys see something or if we get called and hey, we're on our way to a call, somebody called in a smoke detector, so it's we got a 0 response time on some, because we get tone, dispatched, and on scene at the same time. The highest has probably been about 13 or 14 minutes, but then that gets on to a non-emergency, somebody fell out of their chair and just needs help getting up, so we don't drive emergency. So that kind of throws, the 0 skews it way off and the 14 skews it, but they all average out.
So looking at this data, you would say that without question and accuracy, this is a good decision because even Lansing and Delaware aren't affected.
No, they are not
If
affected at all.
anything, Lansing came down a little bit, but I don't think that's attributed to High
No,
Prairie. But overall, everything's stagnant except for High Prairie, which came down significantly.
Yeah,
And all that is adding 1 additional personnel to cover all shifts
Yes.
out there. Gave us that much of a reduction.
right.
There's probably a validation, a little bit of scrubbing, maybe to walk through that a little bit, but it sure seems like we had all talked about this, and
Right.
when we started this, that we would look to, if this was a result that we saw, we would feel comfortable
Right.
adding that person.
And that's why, if you look at 2014, we were 1147, we had nobody at Station 2. 2015, we started with 2 shifts in March.
Right.
So that was a partial year of having somebody there, so you can already see the time dropping by having somebody out there. And then this year, we've had somebody out there all the time, and that's where we're at.
And your opinion is that's directly attributed to this decline by having that fully
Absolutely,
staffed?
absolutely.
What do we need to do to, it's probably something we should vote on in the next one, because you were wanting to do that. We have dollars available now.
Yes, we have dollars
Finish out
available
the
this year. Well, the original thing was that this trial goes through May 1st of this year, so we've got 1 more month of it. So next month at this meeting, I will give you guys the times, and then you guys can decide then, do we want to go through the process of starting the hiring process? If you guys tell me tonight, you're sure enough you want to
We
do
should
it, we can
finish the
start
results of the test.
okay.
Yeah.
So you would tell me next month, we want to start the hiring process, so sometime, we could probably push it and hurry it up and get it by the June meeting, but it would most likely be the July meeting.
We have results, final results
At
We'd have a
the
motion. we'd have
the
team, we'd
May
vote on it.
2nd meeting.
On May 2nd meeting, we'd vote on that to see if there's a go forward.
Yes.
To give you authorization to do that. And then it's a month for the hiring process?
It would take probably by the time we get I mean, I can get everything out, we could push it through and get it in a month, yeah.
Just, if you're wanting to do that for the June meeting, we could do that.
We can do it if you want, yeah.
All right.
Because the guys all know what's coming up, so they can start getting ready. If there's an inkling from this board that, hey, yeah, we're gonna start doing this, then the guys can start getting geared up, and we can, you know, I've got tests ready to go, and we can issue the tests, and then you have to appoint somebody to the hiring board. Because you were on the hiring board before, so.
It'd be hard to say no to something like this next month if the results stay similar.
Okay.
So preparing your guys would be your choice if you
Okay.
want to choose to jump ahead like that, but I wouldn't tell you not to do that.
Okay.
And for the new members, we have been invited to observe the hiring process.
Yes.
We don't actually participate, but we can sit in and see the process, which is very interesting.
It's probably
Now,
worth,
what we're talking about, we're not adding another picture to that thing, we're just taking one of those guys.
Taking one of those
and making
guys,
it
yeah.
full-time.
As long as we have qualified volunteers, we will, and we've got it set up in our hiring policy. If we feel they're not qualified, then we can vote that way, and then, okay, we come back and tell you guys, well, we had a couple applicants, but we don't feel they're qualified, we want to go outside the department.
But
and
what I'm
start
saying is
advertising.
the sum total is gonna stay the same, we're just, yeah, assuming one of these guys makes the cut, then the numbers are the same, we're just
Yeah.
one of them's now full-time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to come with a recommendation. And we don't vote on that, it's who you hire. We only, right, because we're not really approving that. We're sitting in to monitor the process.
That's it.
At the
Observer.
higher grades, we offer, are we involved?
no, you, yeah, for the officers, you
That's right.
guys are actually on the board, but for the firemen,
It's your call.
the chairman has appointed one board member to be the
Fine.
observer.
That's it, but we're not, we don't.
You don't ask
we don't
questions,
get involved.
you're a little mouse in the corner.
That's right. We're saying, yes,
Because
it
we've
was-
had issues before of I hire my favorites, or I do whatever, and it's calmed down so much, but that's why we have a board member there, and they can make sure the process was fair, but yeah, as a lieutenant and captain and assistant chief, yeah, you guys actually vote for that person.
So so you're also recommending one of the new guys would probably sit in on that to learn? I
One
would.
of what
That's
you
your
guys-
decision.
not what
That's
I
your
heard.
decision. You make the appointment.
Not what I heard. I did not hear that baptism by fire. That's not what I heard.
You heard the chairman appoint somebody.
That's what I heard. I heard that chairman volunteered to take this one. And
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
that's pretty good.
Marcus?
No, I don't have
Okay.
any issues.
Jim?
Just a quick thing, the first 3 months budget, we're still under straight line about $43,000. And that's worst case because I didn't take time to strip out what has been charged in April. So actually it's more, it actually would be more than that, but
Do we get money coming back from that big fire that we participated in
No.
across the river?
That was not a declared emergency.
If
So
you would have
we
gone
do-
out west, that would have been.
If I would have been called to go out west, which I was called twice, and both times I got canceled. The second time I got to go out as a
Right.
division leader on the ground, and they canceled me as I was walking out the door. But if I get called, or if we get called as a unit, as a team, then we do get reimbursed. But that, like, they were calling for mutual aid trucks. And same as over here in Platte County, on a mutual aid, it's, we go out there, we pay all the bills,
How,
and it's on our dime.
are you at all tracking mutual aid money that we spend on mutual aid?
No. It's really usually a tank of gas, and it's so minimal, and we get just about as much mutual
I was
aid
gonna
coming
say,
this
it
way
should be
as
a
we.
pretty.
It's a wash. The only money we really spend on a mutual aid call is we'll take special rescue out, or our truck out, and it's full of Gatorade and water. Most everybody else just carries water, where we're carrying Gatorade, and the county reimburses us I'll go up and buy $100 worth of Gatorade and water, and the Chiefs Association, and I'll give them the bill and they'll reimburse us, so the only thing we're out is fuel.
The call-wise, we're busier this year.
Yes.
More fires.
Structure fires,
Yeah, we're
grass
more structure
fires.
fire. Grass fires, we didn't do real good on grass fires this year.
Okay, good.
We were not real busy.
But we've had, what, 4 or 5 structure
Oh,
fires?
Yeah, 4 or 5
Lots
structures,
of-
yeah. We've had a lot of structure fires this year.
And even
Church
with
on
that
Sunday,
added
you have to
expense
put
there,
that
we're
out.
still under
Yeah,
budget.
we're still under budget. But again, for you new board members, I don't spend a lot of money until, we budget a lot of equipment money, and I don't spend it till the end of the year. You'll see a lot of capital stuff that come up in October and November, because if we blow up an engine, then, hey, I bought a new $10,000 widget, now how are we gonna pay for this engine? So I won't spend our capital improvement money till the end of the year.
You would not survive in aviation.
I know.
Anything else?
Everybody else spends all theirs in January, well, I don't, so.
Couple things, and it doesn't get said enough, but Dean pushing it, Mark is kind of working it as well with this new cadet program, and you kind of writing up the guidelines. This is nice, this looks great. So, thank you for you guys kind of pushing these things.
Yeah, I think it's good.
This is a neat program, and hopefully it works and you guys embrace it as well, because it's a community effort and the school is excited about it, and we haven't had something like that in a while. It's
Yeah.
a change in kind of our.
This could be our volunteer program.
It could be.
That's what I was
yeah.
hoping.
Yeah.
That's
this is-
exactly what I'm hoping.
So, so thank you. And also the recommendation on the person out at High Prairie, so I was a big, I push on you a lot on that, but that seems like it's a good win, so nice job on that as well. So, that's all I have.
The key to the cadet program is how well these guys manage it and take care of it.
Yep.
Adjourn?
So moved?
Second?
Jim, don't leave, you got to sign checks.
Yeah, you got signed check.
Oh, you got some checks, huh?
Always
Dean
have
Mullen.
checks.
This is an off week.
Dean Moberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Jim Fricky,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.